I want to thank you for holding this meeting. I'm very excited to talk about the National Infrastructure Bank Act, and I wish I could be with you live. As you know, this legislation was introduced by my colleague in Congress, Congressman Danny Davis, who is actually my district neighbor representing Illinois 7. And I'm joined by Representatives Jonathan Jackson, Raja Krishnamurthy, and Delia Ramirez as co-sponsors of this legislation, which is so important to our communities. I'm proud to be Congressman of the Illinois 4th District and a senior member of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. And I'm also an urban planner. I have a master's in urban policy from the University of Illinois at Chicago. It is through my experience as a student of urban policy, a public official, and as a resident of the city of Chicago that I know how fundamental infrastructure is to equity and opportunity. Where projects are chosen to be built is not random. Drive through my district and you'll see the ramifications of disinvestment and segregation by design. Whether it's a highway or an empty lot, it can stand as a barrier to access to schools, childcare, jobs, and sometimes it can even make a difference between life and death if you can't get to a hospital. And we are at a critical point in the history of our nation's infrastructure. I was proud to help pass the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, or IIJA, which is bringing $17 billion in infrastructure investments to Illinois alone. These funds will help address legacies of disinvestment and build more equitable and sustainable communities. But even as we work to implement this once-in-a-generation piece of legislation, and even as we work to ensure that the projects funded are responsive to community needs and historic injustices, we must continue to work for more. The IIJ is great, but it's not enough on the infrastructure front. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but there is growing public awareness on the need to rebuild our infrastructure. And as we begin to see the fruits of these investments, we must take advantage by pushing for a national infrastructure bank. Let's run through a few quick facts. Congressman Davis's bill would create a $5 trillion public bank for infrastructure projects. It would require no new federal appropriations and it would not create new federal taxes. Importantly, it would not require legislators to continually approve funding, ensuring that necessary projects don't get blocked by partisan gridlock. Like we've done in the past, it would use Treasury debt to capitalize the bank. The IIJA includes $15 billion to replace lead pipes nationally. In Illinois alone, it's estimated we need $10 billion to replace all the lead pipes. The gap between what's been funded and what the need is staggering. The National Infrastructure Bank would generate enough money to replace all lead pipes within a decade. The IIJA includes billions to repair our bridges. A national infrastructure bank would have the funding to complete that work, and Illinois has many bridges. Chicagoland is our nation's rail hub. A quarter of all freight trains pass through the area. The IIJA includes billions to improve rail safety and expand passenger transit. A national infrastructure bank would have the funding for thousands of miles of high-speed rail. And we could keep going, but suffice it to say, now is the time to keep on fighting for a national infrastructure bank. We have the momentum. I thank you all for your work and your continued advocacy, and I look forward to our future collaboration.